Hi there, it's Miss Christina from Corona Public Library's Maker Exchange. The first step is actually downloading the program. Once you have that, go ahead and open it. If it's your first time opening the program, it's actually going to prompt you to their tour. For the sake of this tutorial, we're going to skip it. However, you can always go up to the Help tab, scroll down to Start Tour again, and it will bring you right back here. Now, when you normally open the program, you're going to come to your home screen, which is going to be your projects. And here on my screen, you can see that I have a few videos that are for this tutorial. And down below are some of the videos that we've been creating for our virtual preschool storytime at Corona Public Library. Now, on the screen, you can sort by the date modified. So you can see the videos that you have been most recently working on, or you can go by project name. If you look at this top project I've been working on, you can see that there's a monitor icon with a cloud over it. That is an indication that this video and this project has been synced to the Adobe Creative Cloud. The reason you can see a lot of these monitors with the clouds, I like to keep everything synced. This way I can work on my projects both from my iPhone and my Android. Now, if you scroll down, I have a few videos here that only have the monitor. That means that this project is only located on this particular device. If you're working from a mobile device and you only see a cell phone icon, then that means it's only available on that mobile device. If you see a cell phone icon with the cloud, that means that it is connected to the Adobe Creative Cloud. Now, if we click on the three dots, we will have our options for this particular project. We can rename the project, we can duplicate it, we can turn the sync on or off, or we can delete. If it's connected to the cloud, it will prompt you to delete everywhere. If it is only on that particular device, it will say delete from device. When you go to delete something, they will want you to confirm. If you hit continue and you did not want to delete it, you cannot go back. So when you're deleting a project, make sure you do not actually need that project any longer. Now, off to the left-hand side, we have a few buttons. Create a new project whenever we want to start a new video. We have the Help button. That will send us to their main page that has their guides, tutorials, and their community. Learn will send you directly to their tutorials, and Community will send you to their YouTube channel. So let's go and start a new project. On the bottom of the left-hand side, you'll see it automatically asks you to do a name. This is not required. We can keep the untitled if you want to, but I'm going to add in a name. Over on the right-hand side, you can see the Create button is not activated. What is required for a new project, or what is required to go to the editing screen, is at least one piece of media. So as I said, I like to keep everything on the Creative Cloud. So I'm going to select a few pieces of media that we can work on a new project with. Two ways to figure out if I want that particular piece of media is either to scroll across and it will go frame by frame, or to go down to this little box, right click, and here I can preview and sample the entire video, as well as I can actually trim it down as well. Now, this is not the piece of video that I wanted, so I'm going to go to Elephant Lodge Final. This looks to be correct, and I only needed a small piece. So I'm going to edit that down. Now we can edit to shrink it. We cannot cut out from the middle. And so on the right-hand side, once I have that piece that I want, I can click the plus icon to add to my selection. Once I have the check mark, I can go up to the top of the right-hand side and click the box. That'll send me back to my grid view. we can see the number 1 is over the piece of media that I have selected. Down in the left-hand side, we can see that piece of media is in line to be added to the project. So the next piece of media, regardless of where it is located, will be number 2. And we can see the number 2, and down in the left-hand corner, I can see it is next in line. I'm going to add in music later. We could add it in now, and you can see how it'll add it down there. But I want to add that later so I can focus on the video. So once you have everything you want to at least start with your video, you can hit create. If you're like me and you want to make sure that everything is synced to the Creative Cloud, make sure that Sync with Creative Cloud is checked. If you're perfectly happy with it being on that particular device, you do not need to. So I'm going to hit create. Okay, and now we have been sent to our editing screen or editing tab. Down at the bottom, we can see that the 2 pieces of media I have been added in the order that I have requested, number 1 and number 2. If we go up to the top, we can see the little home button. That just sends us right back to all of our current projects. And we can see that it is still optimizing down here with that bar. And we didn't have that little cloud over the monitor. That's because it has not fully synced. We can also see in the right-hand corner, this little circle where it was still optimizing. So if you still see that circle, it might be a little slow when you're working on it. So back to the left-hand screen, we have the home button, the edit tab, which we are currently on, the share tab, which if I click on, this is where once we are done editing our video, we have our finalized form. We can either download to our local device or upload to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, or Behance. In the middle, we can see the name that I have given the project, as well as the sequence number. Off to the right, we have the undo button, redo button, feedback going back to Adobe, our titles, which have both stagnant as well as animated, transitions, which work both on visual as well as audio, colors, which have both presets as well as manual editing options, our speed, here we can do a slow-mo or we can do a speed up, audio, this allows us to enhance, edit, auto-duct, any of the audio that is in this project, and crop and rotate. This will allow us to do a dual screen, as you can see in the sample, to zoom in or to zoom out. If we move down to the bottom, we have these 2 lines. This allows us to adjust the monitor size. So if I scroll up, so I will click, hold, and drag, it will make the monitor smaller, and it makes the timeline larger and easier to view. If I want to see a larger screen of the monitor, I can just click, hold, and drag it down and have a larger monitor and a smaller timeline. Sticking with the monitor, we have our place head position. That is the blue line. So wherever the blue marker is at, it will let you know exactly where in the timeline. Next to that is a sequence duration. This is the length of the entire video that we have. In the middle, we have go to previous edit point. This will send us to every single edit point. So if I have a sound down at the bottom, that is going to be another edit point. So I can go back and it'll send me all the way to the front. And that's a great way of moving a little quicker through the timeline. The next button is a step back 1 frame. So this is just rewinding 1 frame at a time. The play and pause button, which you can also use your spacebar on your keyboard. Going forward 1 frame, and going forward 1 edit point. Now, when you're pushing play, you can actually double click or triple click the forward one frame and that will fast forward. And same thing with the back one frame, that will rewind if we double click or triple click. So if I double click and triple click. And if I double click and triple click. Off to the right hand side, we have the view and exit full screen. So if we want to see more detail of what we are creating, then we have that option. In the middle is the loop playback, so it will be a continuous playback of your creation. And what a lot of people really enjoy about Rush is the change sequence aspect ratio. They automatically have a one-click way of editing to see what it will look like on Facebook, Instagram, Behance, and then going back to YouTube. As you can see, when we change the aspect ratio, it does not change the size of the video, but it does allow you to know exactly how you need to edit. So looking at the timeline, here in the middle with all these numbers, this is your timeline. So right now, we're spaced out for 1 second apart. If we go down at the bottom at the scroll bar, you can see that the circle has lit up. If I click and hold and I can drag, it will actually make the timeline shorter. And now it's gone to 5 seconds. Or I can go the opposite direction and stretch it out and see more frames. So 1 second apart, it's all the way over here. So this allows more refined editing if you're looking for a specific point or if there's something specifically you want to do within those frames. In the left-hand side, we had the scissors. This is going to allow you to make a cut. So you can shorten the clips, you can slice them, cut them. Down below, we have the duplicate button. So that's just going to duplicate whichever clip you are currently highlighting. So here we can see that this is highlighted in an orange yellow. Next to it in the Sahara Desert, it is not highlighted. So whenever you either cut or duplicate or delete, you want to make sure and double check that the clip you want to edit is selected. And of course, if you ever accidentally edit the wrong one, you can always go to your undo button. We have the delete button down below the duplicate button. Here, we can delete whatever clip or sound we want to remove. Beneath that is the expand audio and the control tracks. So if I do the control tracks, this allows us to see all of the tracks that we have in Rush in a particular project. We have 4 visual with audio included and 3 additional only audio tracks. So if I hit the expand button, we'll be able to expand those wavelengths. So I did not add in my music yet. So if we go back and go to music, I like to drag and drop. So if you click, hold, and drag, or you can click and then add. And it will add wherever the blue marker is currently located. So here we can see the wavelengths of the music. If I hit expand, it will only expand the current track that I am on, and it will lessen or shorten the other tracks. So if I want to see that one, I can hit expand and it will reduce the one I was previously on and expand the one that I am currently on. Within the tracks, we can lock the entire track. This will make it impossible to make any edits to this particular track. I can mute the entire track, and I can hide all of the visual, but still hear that particular track. So we can go over a few examples of how to do the editing. One of the most common is to trim and to split. So I'm going to zoom in just a little bit, and I'm going to take the marker. I'm going to click on it, hold, and drag across. That will allow me to scrub through. And I think this one is actually pretty good. So I'm going to go to the next clip by clicking on Next Edit Point. I'm actually going to grab the scroll bar, click, hold, and drag over. This one seems a little bit long for what I need, and there's that middle part I wanted to remove. So I'm going to go as close as possible so I can get to the exact frame that I need. And I'm going to again click, hold, and drag across to scrub through. This looks like a good point, so I want to make sure that I am highlighted over this clip and use my scissors. And then again, click, hold, and drag across to find the next point I want to cut. That seems like a good point. Make sure that it's highlighted and cut. Now I will click and use my keyboard delete. So again, I'm going to scrub through. And that looks good. There's a point here in the clip where it transitions. So I'm actually going to cut there. Shorten this one by clicking. So if I hover over it, you can see how the mouse changes. I want to click, hold, and drag to the side so I can have a clean transition. And you can see as I'm holding it, it actually shows you the last point and then the point where you're at now to help you with your editing. I'm going to scrub through. Good. And I'm actually going to create a transition between these two to make them a little bit smoother. So given the color, I'm going to dip to white. With transitions, we only have a few options. We have either none, cross dissolve, dip to black, or dip to white. And then I'm going to go to my next editing point. I want to do dip to black so it can fade out. I'm going to go back to where the elephants meet the Sahara. I'm going to do another dip to white. And to the beginning, I will do a cross dissolve. And you can do the same exact thing with audio, so it'll make it fade in and fade out. So cross dissolve. So how I just clicked on it automatically did it because I have highlighted it. You can also click and drag. And then going to our audio, I'm going to click on audio. Here we can choose how loud it is going to be. It has automatically registered that it is music. With voice, you have a few more options. And then with other, there are no options. So music allows you to auto duct. Voice allows you to balance, reduce background noise, reduce echo, and enhance speech. Reduce background noise is used most often for our story times. It gets rid of that white noise. And you also have control over that as well, as to how little you remove or how much you remove. And then with the crop and rotate, I can just click on it and we can see the editing points. We can do it manually. Undo button. Or we can do it through the options. So I can do it from the bars. And then undo. Can zoom in, undo, and we can even crop. We can do feathering on the outside of the edges. However, this only works on the original edging. It will not work when you have cropped it. Once we have it looking the way we want, we can either preview it here or we can go directly to share. And I'm going to download it to my local device. Rename it. So it does not keep the project name. It allows you to rename the file name. Down below is where we're going to select where it gets downloaded. And that's good. And then here it will let us know exactly how large the file is. If we go to advanced settings, we can do a preset of the size and the quality. So you can see how 4K is much larger than the 1080p. Or we can even do it manually. Here we have another place where we can preview, and we can even do full screen. And then once that is complete, we can export. And that's it for today. So if you have any questions, or if there are any projects that you would like us to see add to our episodes, go ahead and leave a comment. Otherwise, I will see you next time.